Nope.
No.
Please, we'd like to start with the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, everyone. Unfinished business or correspondence, Karen?
I have nothing.
Karen has nothing, all right. Keep the record alive. Looking for a motion to approve the minutes of the meeting dated May 23rd, 2023 as presented. Okay, thank you. Call for vote, please, Karen.
Mr. Buller?
Yes.
Mr. North?
Yes.
Mr. Pacino?
Looking for a motion to approve invoices in the amount of $1,628,853.89 for the period May 20th through June 9th, 2023. So moved. Second. Call for vote on that, please.
Mr. Buller?
Yes.
Mr. North?
Yes.
Mr. Pacino?
Yes. Again, we're looking for a motion that the actual gross payroll in the amount of $310,990.73 be approved for payment for the period May 21st through June 3rd, 2023. So moved. Second. Call for vote now, please.
Mr. Buller?
Yes.
Mr. North?
Yes.
Mr. Pacino?
We're looking for a motion to award the construction contract for contract number CDBG-C21-03 for Corsico, Water Street Water Line Replacement Project Phase 2 to the low bidder, Dave Roman Excavating Incorporated, in the amount of $81,570. This award is contingent upon the contractor fulfilling all contract requirements. In addition, this motion authorizes the chairman of the Board of County Commissioners to execute all contract documents with Dave Roman Excavating Incorporated, including any change orders to this contract. So, second. Thank you. Ben, if you would please.
Sure. So this is a water line replacement project in Corsica Borough, about 560 feet of old line between State Route 949 and Pine Street, on Water Street, obviously. So this will be improving the line for the residents who live along Water Street in that area.
Okay. Thank you for that. Call for a vote on that, please.
Mr. Buller?
Yes.
Mr. North?
Yes.
Mr. Pacino?
Yes. You'll see in your packets, we're looking for a motion to initiate the process by which the County of Jefferson decertifies PA Great Outdoors as a tourist promotion agency. Second. And it is in your packets if anybody has taken a chance to look at that. And I'll call for voting.
Mr. Buller?
Yes.
Mr. North?
Yes.
Mr. Pacino?
This next motion, we are going to table it, and at this time, Trace, I'm going to turn the floor to you if you would do one thing on why we table.
Okay, thank you. At the request of the county fire chiefs and the district forester, early last week, we had went through the process to impose a 30-day burn ban on all open burning within the county. Since then, yesterday especially, we got over an inch of good, slow, steady rain that really reduced that threat quite a bit. And with the forecast for tomorrow and Thursday, we will see some more rain coming into the forecast. So because of the extremely dry conditions, that was the reason for this. However, I still want to caution everybody, especially the public, that if you do any type of controlled burns, to do it on a wet, damp day and when the humidity is higher, because that reduces the threat and the spread of any kind of wildfires. I'm sure everybody has drove by the creeks and seen how low they are. Some of the volunteer fire departments have dry hydrants that they utilize in creeks and ponds, and some of those dry hydrant heads are exposed where they can't draft water from those sources. So we're still monitoring, the potential drought situation, although we're not in a drought. Currently, by DEP standards, the watershed is very low, and we just ask everyone to conserve water, be careful when burning, and we do have everything in place. If we need to readdress this for the burn ban, we can.
Thank you, Tracy. Then we'd look for a motion to adopt or to table. Do we need to do that? And call for a vote on that, please.
Mr. Bullers?
Yes.
Mr. North? Yes. Mr. Forsythe?
Yeah. Thank you. At this time, we're looking for a motion to approve the Jefferson County Strategic Management Plan prepared by HRG Incorporated / Pennsylvania Economy Limited. Second. Thank you. At this time, Bob, I'd like to give the floor to you, if you could kind of present to us the.
Thank you for the opportunity to be here today and for trusting our team to undertake this strategic management planning study for the county. As you know, and for the public's information, the study was funded through the Pennsylvania Department of Community and Economic Development Strategic Management Planning Program. And I do want to point out that through partnering with DCED, the county was able to receive 90% of the funding was needed to undertake the study. For that, I commend the commissioners and Ben White for not only undertaking the study, but doing so in a fiscally prudent manner. HRG, along with its partners, the Pennsylvania Economy League and consultant Ron Smeal, were engaged to review and analyze the management and financial operation of the county. Our process included a number of elements. The HRG staff, the sub-consultants and Pennsylvania Economy League, we conducted 24 interviews with various individuals within the county administration, and over the course of several days, visited the county, interviewing the commissioners, row officers, and department heads and key staff members. We also conducted a number of follow-up telephone and virtual interviews to gain additional information and answer additional questions that we had. These interviews were able to provide insight into the county's regular operations, as well as identifying potential areas of improvement in operational efficiency, as well as potential cost savings. Our team also reviewed 5 years of historical financial records from the county, including budgets and annual financial statements. This information provided valuable information to us with which to base our financial projections moving forward. In addition to the interviews and the review of the financial records, we reviewed labor contracts, various county policies, and the county's comprehensive plan. And what we've seen is that even with the stresses that the counties and local governments in Pennsylvania have faced over the last several years, we believe the Jefferson County Commissioners have been good stewards of public funds and have done an excellent job in managing the overall operation, the fiscal condition of the county. We saw in our review that the commissioners have made several financially prudent decisions, which have placed the county in better financial condition moving forward. Two such examples are the restructuring of the county bond issues and making changes in the county's healthcare plans. Both of these decisions created significant annual and ongoing savings for the county that will be beneficial moving forward. In addition, the commissioners recently revised the county employees' wage structure, which is, we believe, a significant step in keeping the county competitive in today's tight employment market. I believe that these types of forward thinking will benefit the county in the near and long term. The fact that the commissioners undertook this study positions the county to continue to make prudent financial and operational decisions in the future. I described the various county employees and row offices we met as a dedicated group of individuals, people who strive to meet the needs of the citizens and others who are doing business with the county each and every day. Many of the employees and elected officials have served the county for long tenures and care a great deal about the future of the county. They provided a great deal of information and insight to us that went into the drafting of this plan and ultimately the recommendations that were developed. It's gratifying to know that the county is already working to take action on several of the 62 recommendations included in the report, such as the update of the personnel policy and reviewing feasibility of an infrastructure plan that will benefit communities throughout the county. Commissioners are now at the point of considering how to implement next steps through next phases of the STAMP program, as well as making small changes as opportunities arise during the course of normal business or part of your future budget processes. With the completion of the plan, the county is now in a position to seek funding for establishing a chief financial officer position and determining the feasibility of making more land, parcel, and property information available to residents and businesses online. The creation of the CFO position not only provides immediate cost savings to the county, it will provide the commissioners and county staff with immediately available professional expertise. Having the land, parcel, and property information available online would also allow the public to obtain information on their own and freeing up valuable staff time. The new CFO position could be funded through a future phase of the state's STAMP program, offsetting costs for several years in addition to the immediate cost savings to the county. A future phase of the STAMP program could also help fund the improvements to the county website and enable residents and businesses to obtain the information without traveling to the courthouse, especially on a day like today when there's a number of parking spaces taken up for the festival. Recommendations in the plan also provide alternatives for funding for various approaches to tourism and economic development. Those are in addition to the STAMP funds that may be available through future phases. We thank you, commissioners and Ben, and leaders of the county for the opportunity to do the work. It was a pleasure getting to know all of you and helping you to chart the future.
Thank you, Laura. So Terry Kunkel, so everybody knows. And
Hi, everyone.
you wanna-
Yeah, no, it's okay. The strategic management program has a 5-year plan. And out of that 5-year plan, the commissioners can come in for subsequent funding at a 10% match for everything that was recommended in that plan, but at a cost reduction. When Bob was saying about the website building and technology and things like that, it's a great opportunity for the DCG. They'll have 5 years to work on those implementations at that reduced rate with that grant. So it's great for the county moving forward. It's just not a plan that's going to sit in the shelf.
Appreciate it. Okay, at this time, I guess we need to call for a vote.
Mr. Bowles?
Yes,
Mr. Lawrence? Yes. Mr. Sessions?
we're looking for a motion to approve application 23-33409-002 for county aid to Sykesville Borough in the amount of $6,379.74 for the purchase of stone and winter salt purchases. So, second. Thank you. Call for vote, please.
Mr. Bowles?
Yes.
Mr. Lawrence? Yes. Mr. Sessions?
Yes. Looking for a motion to approve application 23-33411-001 for county aid to Worthville Borough in the amount of $390.23 for the resurfacing of Cliff Road. Second. Call for vote, please.
Mr. Bullard?
Yes.
Mr. North?
Yes.
Mr. Misaki?
Yes. Looking for a motion to approve application 23-33207-001 for county aid to Heath Township in the amount of $4,062.52 for the installation of cross drains on Pine Run. So, second. Call for vote, please.
Mr. Bullard?
Yes.
Mr. North?
Yes.
Mr. Misaki?
Looking for a motion to approve application 23-33405-001 for county aid to in the amount of $5,577.78 for street paving. Second. Thank you. Call for vote, please.
Mr. Bullard?
Yes.
Mr. North?
Yes.
Mr. Misaki?
Yes. Looking for a motion to approve application 23-33219-001 for county aid to Union Township in the amount of $10,999.35 for reconstruction of Township Road 329, which is Douglas Road. Sorry. Call for a vote on that, please.
Mr. Bullard?
Yes.
Mr. North? Mr. Misaki?
Thank you. At this time, our Laura Wing, would you like to stand up maybe and introduce yourself?
Hello, everyone. My name is Taylor Rafferty, and I'm the 2023 the Laurel Festival Queen.
Glad you came. Let's see, Tracy, do you have anything else you wanted to throw?
I do, thank you. I want to just put it out for the public that the draft 2023 Jefferson County Hazard Mitigation Plan has been posted for review to the public for the next 30 days on the county website. The Hazard Mitigation Plan is a requirement of the federal government through FEMA as part of the Disaster Mitigation Act of 2000. We have been working on this plan, the update of this plan, which is required every 5 years. We've been working on it since middle of last year, where we finally have the draft available for comment and review. All the municipalities, different stakeholders in the county contributed to this plan, and we hope that the public can look at it and give input so we can bring that up to county for final approval here in the next few months. So it is available on the county website at www.jeffersoncountypa.com under announcements, and there'll be a tab that says HMP, and any comments can be addressed to our email address at DES, that's Delta Echo Sierra, at jeffersoncountypa.com.
Thank you, Tracy. On your step beside Trace, you got anything?
Yeah, everybody knows that the new hunting license system and all that stuff, there's been a lot of ebb and tide with everything going on. It's coming for right now, the treasurer's office will be open that first morning of issuance on June 26th from 8 in the morning until at least 6 o'clock at night. We feel there's gonna be a very large group of people wanting to try to get their hunting licenses and no licenses that day, and we're gonna try to service them all the best we can. So if we have to go past 6, I think we're much prepared. We'll be here till at least 6. We've been getting countless phone calls on it. I mean, just every day people walking in, stopping, it's definitely a hot issue.
Jim, I'll catch up to you. You got anything you'd like to?
I can give a brief update if you'd like me to.
We would like you to, yes.
There's quite a few people in here I don't recognize, so I'll just introduce myself. My name is Jim Chorney. I'm the Executive Director at North Central Pennsylvania Regional Planning and Development Commission. So one of the programs that we're currently offering, it's on a pilot basis. We've been operating it for about 1.5 years now, is our Community Capacity Program that was funded through the Appalachian Regional Commission. The nice thing about this project is it allows us to work with our local municipalities, and within just to kind of give you a perspective, within our 6-county region, there's 154 municipalities that we have and operate within that area. A lot of them don't have the capacity to be able to write grants. They don't have capacity to fill out the applications. To be honest with you, a lot of them share secretaries. So there's a need there for them to be able to take advantage of all the funding that's available right now. This program allows us to provide that assistance. We go out and we will have them fill out a simple 2-page application. Then from there, we have a team of individuals that actually look at what they're asking for, try to decide the appropriate funding source, and then actually help them apply if necessary. To give you an example of where we're currently at, again, I mentioned that we've been operating for about 1.5 years now. Overall, we've received 111 applications through our online system. And let me take a step back real quick. On our webpage, the North Central webpage, there is a button on there that says Call for Projects. Simply click on that. There's a simple 2-page application that anyone can fill out. And we would provide assistance to that organization to be able to locate a applicable funding source. We've received 111 through that process. In Jefferson County alone, we've received 19. We've been able to provide or submit 21 of those 111 applications for funding. We've actually received funding for 11 of those projects so far, which equates to about $8.6 million for the region. So it's so far a very successful program. The unfortunate piece and the challenge that we have with it is the fact that the majority of those applications, about 61% of them, fall short just because of matching funds. It's an issue that we've been trying to address with our local legislators and anybody, to be honest with you, anybody that's willing to listen to us. But it is a challenge for funding. So we continue to work with that. We're actually working with DCD currently to see if there's opportunities to be able to submit them. They have the ability to be able to provide exemptions at times without match, and we're working with them to see if we can do that. But it continues to be a challenge. But as I mentioned, it's a pilot program that's actually set to expire in December, but every indication that we're getting right now from DCD and the Appalachian Regional Commission is it's a program that they'll continue to fund in the future. So we'll continue to sell that. Actually, our program staff, at least for events, will be scheduling to come here and talk to you specifically about the program and talk to you a little bit more about what you can do to help. So in the future, she'll be able to assist that. 2 other quick things just to mention. We just finished a capital needs assessment study. The draft is out there. We're going to be discussing the draft. And basically, what it is doing is providing us the opportunity to look at our capital program, our lending program, to see if there's gaps or areas that we need to fill that we traditionally don't do through our lending programs. What we're seeing, at least initially through the report, is a lot of our small entrepreneurs don't have the same opportunity that major manufacturers might have. And a lot of times they go to different sources, either through family or their personal resources to be able to fund their projects. We're looking at ways that we might be able to fill those gaps, whether it's they call it a security assistance program or some other function that we can actually provide funding or at least the security for them to get financing through the traditional methods to be able to allow them to fund these projects, not through their own means, but by lending institutions like most individuals would. We're currently reviewing that and analyzing that to see what opportunities are out there, but we've been presented this opportunity because of some of our funding sources that we do have. The Economic Development Administration just defederalized their programs, which is allowing us to look at our business plan to see if there's opportunities to update it and correct it to our current market. And then for some of you might be familiar with the SSBCI, or Small State Business Assistance Program. That is $2.2 million that we recently received that we're lending out based off of the guidelines that they provided us. The nice thing about those guidelines though, is it's for the initial round. Once we get the a revolving portion of that back in, we can actually lend it out to how we see fit, based on our business plan. So it's an opportunity to kind of just take a step back, look at what we're doing currently and see if there's gaps and holes. So more to come on that, but we'll let you know about that. And we're currently starting a electric vehicle infrastructure study. What we're looking to do is within the 6 counties that we operate within, see if there's 3 to 5 locations that we can come up with that would be prime spots for electric charging stations. This is separate from what PennDOT is currently doing, which is theirs is based on the I-80 corridor and within, I believe, 1 mile of that corridor. We're looking outside of that region to see if there's opportunities, make sure the infrastructure is there and the ideal locations. Once we get this study completed, then we'll move on to the next phase, which hopefully will be implementation. That's a real quick update of what we're currently doing.
Thank you. Date rights. You have anything for us?
Yeah, the flags are up in all the cemeteries across the county and they look great. I really want to thank all of the legions, VFWs, the Boy Scout troops, and the cemetery associations for getting those out. I mean, the cemeteries that I've been to, everything looks impeccable. We have hours at the Brockway Legion next month on July 13th from 9 to 3, and the Punxsutawney VFW on July 7th from 9 to 3. On the DAV front, we gained 2 more volunteers this week. We got 1 back from medical leave, and I do believe after talking to Altoona yesterday, we have 3 more that are going through the process. So we could, within the next couple of weeks, have gained 5 drivers. So that's good. I'm working on a project right now with Somerville Eats and Treats to provide a free meal for veterans, maybe once a month. And as we work through that minutia there, I'll report back on what we can do and what we're actually looking at when the figures come back in from the both of us. The last thing that I want to talk about is the military share program. It's going absolutely great. Currently, we're serving 200 veteran households. And typically we start our distribution between 2 and 2:30, even though it's scheduled to start at 3. I know when I get there at 12 to start setting up, the last 2 times there have been anywhere from 13 to 25 cars there already waiting to get in line. And we do serve on a first come, first served basis. And unfortunately, the only way we can increase the amount of food that we get is to run out. And we've only run out, I think, once. And now they bring 200, but they're bringing some for proxies, and I'll throw that in quotes. So we haven't run out. I mean, we've gone just over 200 a couple of times with the proxies. I think we were technically at like 217 last time, something in that neighborhood. Last time our distribution didn't start until later than normal because the truck blew a tire on 79 and they didn't get there till 3:30. So I think we were there until 5 or 5:30 distributing food. And it was really hot that day, but we were giving out waters to people that needed waters. We had all the bathrooms open, so everything was taken care of. That's not the norm. I mean, that's certainly not been the norm. We've started at 2 or 2:30 every time. But I want to remind all the veterans that did come that Second Harvest is required to do new paperwork in August. And it's the same form that we signed the first time that we were there. So it's nothing new, and it really shouldn't hold the program up that much. The ladies are still going to come to the car windows. They're still going to take your information. They're going to check you in. It's just going to be a little bit longer, like the first time we were there. But to make that program work as efficiently as it does, I really think we need to thank all of the volunteers, because we currently have about 30 volunteers that show up to make this work. We have Tom and Karen Whitman come, Tanya Prisbrowski and all of her crew from Jefferson County Housing Authority. There's members of the Jefferson County Fair Board that come, members of the Reynoldsville, Brockway, Sykesville, and Brookville Legions show up. Members of the Punxsutawney VFW Auxiliary come to help, and the commissioners, you guys have been to all of them. And the work there for the volunteers might go in some, but it certainly isn't unnoticed, because without the efforts that all the volunteers put in, we wouldn't be able to offer the program at all. And this program really is meeting a need in our county. So I would like to thank all of the volunteers, to include the three of you guys, for coming out to help. It is a really big deal, and you've seen how big of a deal it is to a lot of these veterans that come out to get this food. Now, the next distribution is August 3rd at 3 o'clock at the Jefferson County Fairgrounds. And for the press, I brought you guys the flyer, so I'll give you a flyer. If you don't have to put it in the paper, but it has all the information on there if you guys want to print. That's all I got.
Okay, thanks, Dave. Jessica, did you have anything?
I don't know.
Okay, Ben, did you have anything else? No. Okay, we'll open to public comments then at this time.
One's fun, the next question I have is, okay, so my first thing is, are we going to be able to set up tents on the sidewalk so we can get there early?
It may be necessary.
It's a-
We're planning on taking them back through and circling around and, maybe a few loop-de-loops around the outside of there.
So you're not gonna have outside service or anything like that?
No. But there will be chairs in the bathroom.
Now, my second thing is a comment on the CFO position, Chief Financial Officer, which was mentioned in the management plan. Is it the intent of the commissioners to establish a CFO officer's position? And if so, how does that square with the elected treasurer office?
Let's look at me.
You want to answer?
Well, we spent a lot of time on that, and, I'm gonna take advantage of this opening and I wanted to make some other general remarks and then get to the specifics, and the other commissioners can chime in or refine my remarks as they see fit. I want to thank, first of all, Terry. You are the reason behind we were able to get this program. So thank you for your leadership and making this a possibility for our county. Bob, you and your team did a lot of work talking to our staff, the leaders, and the staff that work for those leaders. And it's a process by which you ask someone to come in and tell you what's wrong with you. So, we do that with an understanding that ultimately our motivation was how to do the best we can for the taxpayer. And that means you got to put your ego aside and your sensibilities aside and say, okay, outside experts come in and tell me what I'm doing wrong, or maybe what we're doing okay, but could be done better. And so, this, my version of it, which is, I have my notes through, is that foundation. So, thank you both. Ben, I have to say this out loud, and it was referenced in Mr. Grimm's remarks, but we're all grateful to you because I want people to understand that Ben brought us from the potential of the 50% obligation match to the funds that we could merit through Terry's program, and brought that match down to 10%, which means hundreds of thousands of dollars in savings for the taxpayers of Jefferson County as we implement these things. Now, our work isn't done yet. Bob has handed the ball to us. We have to turn that into action. There are 62 items there. Are we going to do all 62? No. Are we going to do all 62 in perhaps the method that was suggested? Well, that's not the point either. Bob and his team's job was to come in and say, these are things that we need to bring to your attention, and then we'll look at it and come up with a Jefferson County solution for those things that we think are appropriate. But I need to thank and acknowledge Ben for his particular work, because as we implement these programs and go back and work with Terry to find the funding to do things like the CFO, and I'm going to come to the question in just a moment. But people of Jefferson County need to know the good work that Mr. White did on their behalf. We're awfully grateful to you for that. So you asked something, huh?
Not really, so I'm just
Okay.
sitting here, chewing my cud.
So, one of the 62 items, that they brought to our attention, HRG, was, the need for a chief financial officer. Now, for perspective, we must rely on an outside consultant for those services. And we pay that consultant 6 digits a year, because we have to have it. For financial matters. The intent is to bring that expertise in-house and save money at the same time. So that we have here in Brookville, in Jefferson County, the real-time proper management of our finances. Now, the proper management is taking place now, but we have to go through a process that's sometimes cumbersome and turns slowly. So the position as CFO, as we envision it, and we have spent a lot of time on that particular issue, will bring that expertise in the house and slowly get us to the point where we won't need outside expertise. We won't have to send money to a company that does a good job for us, but is not in our county. So that's the rationale behind it. And now the burden's on us to turn those details into action, just like the other recommendations.
But to answer your question, if I may, we envision that the CFO will work hand in hand with the treasurer. So it doesn't affect, like the treasurer's office, it would work together,
It helped me.
as they do now.
Help me with my ignorance then. We have an elected treasurer. They are not chief financial officer. Functions the chief financial officer.
You're essentially accounts receivable in the treasurer's office.
Yeah, we just check the accounts. Any check that goes through there, my only power to say anything is if there's not enough money in that account to cover the check, I can stop the check and hold it up until such time as the money shows up. Everything that goes through, these guys have to sign off and do it, and they've been working with themselves in this Susquehanna Advisors, I believe it is. They work things over, the plans, the payments, all that stuff. They work with them to do that. And then when it comes to the treasurer's office, yeah, we just, make sure stuff's there. We do the transfers so that you have your checks and balances and financials, for like doing, when we do the payroll, when we do the, everything that way so that there's checks and balances. Smaller counties, it's a little harder to do because we don't have the number of employees in the offices. Some of your bigger counties and the treasurer's office, God, they might have 50 people in there. It's pretty easy for them to have, okay, you take the money in, you count the money, you take the money to the bank, they have all those designations where we got 3 people. It's a little tougher to do a lot of those jobs. But the CFO or whatever, like with the account guy they have now, they cover all that stuff. And then give us, hey, you need to do this and when things are to be paid and all that. If that makes sense.
I did not know that we had an outside agency acting as our CFO already.
We've had a financial consultant forever and ever.
Okay. But that's been part of it. So we're paying a consultant now to act as a CFO. I guess the obvious question is there a reduction in what you're paying that source for and what a new CFO would cost you?
Absolutely.
We see that as directly linked.
I'm still surprised that our treasurer is not your CFO.
It's just not how it's set up.
I understand that now. Like I said, I'm talking to ignorance, not from what I know. Okay. So thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Yeah, but the budgeting, the accounts payable, all those kinds of things are outside of the purview of the treasurer.
Okay.
And so, that's the foot we lean on, and that's one of the things that we want to do better.
Well, thanks for the information. I appreciate you answering my question.
Every time I've run My opponents have always said, I'm gonna cut spending, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna slash this. The treasurer has no authority to do any of those things. I work at the will of the commissioners.
You know, I thought you were answerable for the taxpayers.
Well, I am, but they have to sign off first before I can do anything.
But this role, Herb, would work in liaison department.
I understand what you're saying. I understand the concept now, but I did not before. Like I said, I'm speaking from, ignorance. I don't know, so.
You're not
We'll
on
find
this
out.
side of it, you wouldn't have a reason.
Thanks, Ed, I appreciate it.
Anything else, public comments? Mark?
No.
Okay. Press then, we'll turn it over to you now. We give you lots of stuff, so I hope you took good notes if you're gonna ask any questions.
Listen, I've never understood this license thing because you can only get it at the treasurer's office then.
Used to be, you can only get your go licenses at the
Right.
treasurer's office.
But
They
the way
have-
you talk today, like this is the only place they can come to get it.
Well, no, that's just, I'm talking about us. Yeah, any treasurer's office is the only place you can get DAV and military doe licenses. And so, that landowner licenses and the, landowner hunt. Okay, so we still have that designation as a special agent for the Commonwealth. But the doe licenses and the hunting licenses, before you had like a month and a half to buy your hunting license. So it was like a prep cook, some of the stuff was already done, then comes the time to do the doe licenses, so it was kind of spread out a little bit. Now it's all gonna be on the same day starting. And anybody who has, that comes into, us as the office, whatever local, establishment that actually sells hunting licenses, those systems will be hot on the system. They will be linked directly to the system. Anybody at home on their computer, their tablet, their phone, and whatever else gadgets they got to get on and do that stuff, they are gonna go into a queue.